Hey, I visited a museum in Baltimore last week and I saw some really cool stuff, some great art, antiques, and history. But unfortunately, I also saw this sign attributed to 1912 to 1930. But sadly, that's not the case. This sign is a fake. Pretty much every museum has some sort of fake antique in their collection, whether it's just an outright fake or something that's been doctored or altered to appear older or better than it is. And I don't want to pick on this particular museum in question, but it does show how important it is to be careful on what you buy and also who you buy antiques from. But first, let's dive into how I know the sign is a fake before I get into how to avoid buying fakes yourself. Let's do this. Buying and selling in Delaware and Maryland's eastern shores over the years and going to auctions, I've come across this guy's work before. He's pretty prolific. Some of his work is much better than others, and this is probably one of his better signs, and judging by the date from the museum, one of his earlier ones. But he does a lot. He puts them through auction. He does custom work for people. I've seen a lot of his work, and like I said, some of it's better than others. But once you get to recognize it, it sort of stands out. I thought this was his, and I sent it to a buddy of mine. He confirmed it. So here's one from an auction house, and as you can see, sold for $900. A lot of money. It's a good-looking sign, but same exact style, same guy, not a real sign. Here's another one, this crab one, not quite as good, especially with that bright red letters, but done on old wood. Here's another one, see, $525, similar style, same Eastern Shore kind of locations for the places, oysters. And then this one is neat because it's actually, you can see the auction house has called it contemporary, but of course you never know what happens when these things get bought and passed along down the road. They're often all painted on old wood, so they look really good. With that, it's not like back of the wood is brand new and sticks out for the most part. So here's one, Tillman Island Packing Company, with a old tin added to it. But yeah, $1,250. If you were to probably approach the guy directly and ask him to make this for you, I'm sure it would cost a lot of money. It might even cost close to that. But these are selling at auction. I think some of the times these people buying these don't realize how contemporary they are. They think they're old, just like the people who donated that piece to the museum thought it was old. And now in recent years he's really started painting a lot of these firkins. Sometimes they're listed as buckets, but he finds actually old. Generally the firkins are old. And sometimes they have a base layer of paint that is old, and then he just stencils in letters on top of it. Sometimes he has to repaint the whole firkin because he buys a bare brown wood. But as you can see, there's a lot of them. Varying qualities, also varying prices, but all of them more than pretty much they probably should sell for. Especially, I know some of the people know what they're doing when they buy them, but then other ones, I'm fairly certain some of the bidders do think they are legitimate. And again, after they've owned it for 10 or 15 years and they go to pass it on, who knows what story they tell or how much they're asking for it. But like I said, some of these are a little bit cheaper than others, but still a lot of money for a fake bucket for sure. Either way, the sheer volume should be a clue. Although these were sold over the course of numerous years, I've blocked out the auction house in most cases because I'm not trying to shine a negative light on them. I don't know what they know, but I assume they do know that they're not old with the volume coming in from most likely the same consignor over and over again. But remember, the auction house doesn't work for the buyer, they work for the consignor. That being said, we'll go into that a little bit more later on buying from auction houses. Of course, most of the titles and descriptions never mentioned any kind of date or age or the word antique. You just see the sheer volume of these should be a clue as to how many fakes are out there. Now, take a look at some real oyster signs. You can see how much money they cost. Here's the first one for $2,400. Pretty simplistic. No town name, no company name. Still brought $2,400 at auction. Not sure, was that bought by retail? Was it possibly bought by a dealer looking to resell it? I'm not sure. Here's this next one, a little more rough condition, obviously, but still $1,400. $1,400 for a plain oyster sign should tell you something about the signs that are bringing $700, $800, $900 as to whether or not they are real or not. Here's a final oyster sign. This one brought big money. Came from I guess a collection, has a provenance of a collection. It came from Raccoon Creek. Raccoon Creek had an interesting history in the antique business. Not sure that's the best provenance for a piece, but as you can see, 37 $3,750. So it's a pretty good clue as to when a plain Worcester sign brings that much money, that maybe the one with the town and date that's bringing $900 might not be real. Every full-time dealer has made mistakes. Some we catch before we sell them, others we never catch. So that's not to say that dealers are infallible. It's to say that you need to buy from dealers that guarantee what they sell. Here are my tips to avoid getting duped by a fake. Buy from reputable dealers. Of course, it's hard to know what dealers are reputable and which ones aren't. One major key is to find out if they offer a guarantee on items, especially if they offer the guarantee in writing. Another is to ask questions about an item's history or how they know it's old and real. Ask specifically about the surface and repairs. Tip number 2. Buy from reputable auction houses. Again, it's really hard to tell which ones are reputable. Some are better than others. Of course, all make mistakes. They sell items in bulk, and they sell them quickly. They sell a wide range of things. So they're often going to make, they are going to make mistakes. They just don't have enough knowledgeable people on hand to know everything about everything. But some are better than others. You can just look at even specialty auction houses, which of course have a far more narrow range of what they sell, such as early glass and bottles. But even within that niche category, there's, I don't know, 5 or 6 auction houses that specialize in it. And there's a hierarchy of which ones are better than others, which ones are the best. So try to buy from the best ones. Can't figure out which ones are the best one? Talk to your fellow collectors. Also, what's the return policy of auction houses? Most of them is not very good, but that's a key to knowing which ones are better than others. Tip number 3, learn as much as you can about what you are collecting. Read the books, watch videos online, look at photos online, visit other collectors. This is key. Visit other collectors, you can handle the stuff, you can see it in person. Yes, go to shows, look at the stuff at shows. Even if you're not interested in buying at the time or can't afford to buy, go to shows and see as much as you can. Go to museums. Yeah, museums have some fakes, I just pointed one out. But go to museums, see as much real stuff as possible in person. You'll recognize it better out in the wild. Handle and see as much as possible. That's key. It's key to learning. Tip number 4. Is it too good to be true? Watch out for those deals. When possible, study the comps, i.e. comparable sales. When plain, no company or town name oyster signs bring over $1,000, often over $2,000 at auction. Not let alone retail prices, but at auction. Why would one with a company name and a town name only be $800 at a specialty sale? Well, that's possible because it's fake. And yeah, every now and then it's going to be real, but more often than not, it's going to be fake. And $800 is a lot of money to spend on something that's fake. That being said, if you buy enough, you will end up with a fake. We all did, or restored item. We all did when we first started collecting. And really good fakes will fool everybody. So, and they're out there. So you got to be careful. That being said, enjoy what you're collecting. If you like it and you want to look at it for a long time, then it's probably worth something, right? And we'll all continue to make mistakes because we branch out and start collecting new things. And every area has fakes. Every area has good fakes and bad fakes. But the only way to learn is to see as much as possible and occasionally to make the mistakes yourself. But yeah, try to limit those. We all try to limit those. The more you limit them, the more money you have to spend on other good stuff. So anyway, I hope this video was helpful. And as I said before, good way to learn anything is to talk to fellow collectors and see their stuff. Learn from them who the good dealers are. Learn from them who the good auction houses are. Learn from them what kind of fakes are out there and which ones they've seen a lot. So yeah, go talk to your fellow collectors. And if you're a collector, help someone new if you can. It's the best way for the business to grow, for the hobby to grow, and for your stuff to actually be worth money down the road, which we all want. We all want our collections to be worth what we paid for them when we go to sell them. So, if not more, of course. So anyway, I hope this video was helpful, and if you like it, please hit like and subscribe and watch my other videos. Thanks.